So this is my nasty gnarly garden wagon that I've used for about the last 10 years. And I just have all my tools that I can take, emergency, orange oil and cinnamon and that kind of thing to put on ants and things that are in the garden. And that's it. Oh, clippers and things. So here's the bed. This is the bed we're going to plant in this year for our garden. What we do is basically where those lines are on either side. I don't know if I can show you. About right there is one hose, and right there is another hose. So we've got two hoses going down, and we just plant in the middle of the two. And we use our flamethrower to burn a circle. We have a template that I'll show you in a minute, and we just burn the holes to plant in. This is last year's bed. It was an experiment as to how close we wanted things to grow. And in some places you can see where we patched the hole because we wanted a little bit more space between. I think tomatoes were in here last year and we needed to space them farther apart. We left this asparagus growing. We just put the landscape fabric around it, and it is going gangbusters this year. I just come over here to harvest it. I haven't been out here to harvest any of this yet. You need some of them to go to stock to have to give it nutrients for the root. And so I'm just going to break this off, and we'll have asparagus for Easter. I have a whole other bed of it, so I'm going to go look for more. Here's my chives. They come back year after year. Oh, there's the sprinkler system. We've got all these pipes running down the bed with hoses going to them. So it's like every other bed. Okay, so this is last year's project. Kevin finished fixing these beds up. That's 8 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we may plant in this one or in the other one over there, but either one, it's ready to go. It's all composted and it's got water system down the edges. In fact, you can hear the water turning on right now. Here's a little bit of cilantro that just is a self-seed, and we're cleaning out this walkway today, so I will harvest this. Although it's a shame because I'd rather have these blossoms go to seed. So I might hold off on harvesting this one. But let me talk a little bit about lavender. Last summer it was so hot. There was nothing for the butterflies to eat. So I didn't harvest my lavender last year. I just let it grow, and it flowered, and it fed the butterflies and bees all through the fall. So now in the wintertime, actually, some leafcutter ants got in and kind of decimated the plants, and I was surprised that there is any regrowth. So I need to come in and trim off these dead shoots down to where the new stuff is growing. I'll go ahead and trim the whole bush like there before these new stems get too big and start to flower. But that's a surprise. The sage is ready to harvest and dry. I usually just cut it and hang it upside down. This is my guava bush. I've had guava on here. The only problem is it just doesn't ripen in time. We get a freeze before the fruit is ripe. So I've never been able to harvest any guava on it yet. And behind the guava you can see our I don't know what you call it, reclamation tank for the rainwater off of the house. So all the gutters go underneath the driveway over to this tank, and we collect our rainwater and use that. Here's a sink that my sister gave me. She was closing her kitchen, a gourmet kitchen store. And so I got this to put out here in the garden. It's not hooked up to anything. But what I do is I bring the hose over here and wash all my produce outside in these sinks, and it really saves the mess in the house. I also dry things on this screened bench. So this landscape fabric is working wonders as far as weeding. I just weeded that bed in like 2 minutes, and it was just one handful of weeds. This is a whole winter's worth of weeds, and it's going to be so easy to clean. And I'll whip through this in just a few minutes, and then I will be able to plant. Here are the burning templates that we use to burn the holes through the landscape fabric when we're getting ready to plant. And depending on which crop we're planting, we'll do staggered plantings or straight in a line. And these we use for the big ones, we use for the tomatoes. And we do about every other hole for the tomatoes on this one.